about tired as hell. Working 12-hour shifts all week this week. Trying to get that money, put my life back together. I had gone without my driver's license for over 8 years now. And as you can see in the title of my channel / tagline or whatever you want to call it, it's Dopeless Hope Fiend. Because it's the complete opposite of what I was less than a year ago, which was a hopeless dope fiend. Long time I've been living bad, just doing bad, making bad choices, ruining my life. So, long story short, last year, God had reached out to me and gave me a chance, I guess you could say. I'm not going to get into the details, but it lit a fire under my ass to want to do better for myself. So what I did is I started microdosing off of the substance that I was injecting into my body every day, trying to wean down the amount of my intake so my withdrawals won't be so bad. And after a few weeks of doing that, I got to a point where I just made the choice, made the decision, and I went and I checked myself into an 8-day detox, and then a 28-day program, and then a year-long program. I didn't successfully complete the year-long program, but that was because of some legal shit that caught up to me when I was using. See, I was already in recovery and a warrant popped for me, and I had to go turn myself in and then ultimately bond out of jail. Well, during all this process, I found this job that I'm working now, where I work for the UAW, which is the United Auto Workers, and I work for a big conglomerate. It's, I don't know if that's worldwide, yeah. I work for Dana Incorporated. And I've been working hard, right? Trying to stack this money. Got me a bank account, savings account. Got all my court stuff paid off. Been paying on my child support. Been paying on my ankle bracelet. I dodged a 6-year prison sentence, and I ended up getting community corrections because of the private attorney that I paid for. Everything in this world costs money, man. It's crazy to think how much money I was blowing into my veins. Man, I'm damn near 40 years old now. I'm 37 years old, man. Just now starting to get it right. But I made that choice, right? So, like I said in the beginning of this video, I haven't had my license in over 8 years, and there was a $2,000 reinstatement fee. So I was trying to save up to get my license back, and I got this paperwork to waive my reinstatement fees with the courts. You know, I show all this effort and all the proof of all these steps I've been taking to get into recovery and to better my life, you know, hoping that the courts would lean in my favor and waive those fees. So in the beginning of all this, before I even thought about getting my license back, like I said, I paid off all my court fees from outstanding cases from back in the day. And one of those cases was the indefinite license suspension. There was like a $400 balance on what I owed the courts. That was one of the things I paid off. So I get this paperwork to waive my reinstatement fees, and I call the courts. I call the court clerk. And I ask her, I say, you know, how does this process go? What's the next step? I got this packet, and I just need to know, where do I file it? Is there a filing fee? How can I get the court to set a date? Excuse me. To be seen in front of the judge so I could potentially get these reinstatement fees waived. So she's like, well, do you have your cause number? And I said, yeah. So I gave her my cause number. She looked me up. She said, oh, well, I see that you paid off your fees here back in December. And I said, yeah. You know, we've been trying to put my life back together. And she said, okay, well, I'm going to put in an order to the BMV today And once that indefinite suspension is up, then you'll be one step closer to getting your license back. But the BMV is running a program right now that individuals with a suspended driver's license can bind SR22 insurance. And once they successfully bind the insurance and they send the paperwork to the BMV, that they'll put a stay on your reinstatement fees and you'll be able to get your license back. And I said, really? Oh, okay. So the next day, I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting to go into work, and I call the BMV. And I asked them, is this legit? Do you guys have this program? And they said, yeah, this sure is. What's your driver's license number? We'll look you up. So I gave them my driver's license number, and she said, oh, I see here you have an indefinite suspension on your record. It's court imposed. So you have to have the court lift that. And I said, is this suspension number 38? She said, yes. And I said, that's already done. The paperwork's in the mail. And she said, okay, it'll take up to 20 days. And once that happens, your reinstatement fees are no longer valid. They go away because it was court imposed. So you've already filled your requirements for the courts, and the time has expired on your the life of your suspension as far as the BMV requirements go. So once the indefinite portion of it from the courts is lifted, then your license is valid. All you have to do is go take a written test, because it's been so long since you've had one, and you'll have your license back. And I said, wow, okay, cool. So I save having to come up with that $2,000 or go to the court to try to get it waived. So I got my license back. Yay me, right? So I've been saving. Even though I got all these bills, I'm still getting all the overtime I can, working myself to the bone, trying to save money to get a vehicle. So I come across this local buy here, pay here in Lafayette, Indiana. And I go in there, and they have an 06 Jeep Grand Cherokee sitting on their lot. $900 down, $400 a month. Or you could pay $1,100 down and pay $300 a month. And I had just about $1,400 in the bank. So I drained my bank account. I went and I put the money down, signed the paperwork, and I drove off the lot that day. The truck was in great condition. No lights on the dash, tires brand new, paint's in perfect condition, got a sunroof that works, air conditioning that works. I'm like, man, I got lucky. Man, God is good, right? Well, God is always good. There's a lesson to be learned in everything, see, but I'm coming around to that. So I've had this car for a little over 2 weeks now, and I've been driving it. Not a whole lot, but just enough to get back and forth to work and riding around, running my errands in town. And all of a sudden one day, the transmission stopped shifting. Okay. So I do the research on it, try to figure out what it is, and it's not as simple as I initially anticipated to fix. Next day I get in the car, it's shifting just fine. Today I get in the car, do a little bit of running around. I sit in the McDonald's drive-thru for 5 to 10 minutes, pull out onto the road, and I'm stuck in first gear. Nice. So I call the people that I bought it from, and I said, listen, I just drained my entire bank account to buy this vehicle. I don't have the money to fix a transmission. And I started to continue to speak, and the lady, she cut me off. And she said, you signed on the dotted line for a vehicle as is. We do not take vehicles back. You cannot return it. And if you fault on the contract, we will take you to court and we will sue you for the remainder of what's owed. Great customer service. And see, I'm not going to be that guy and put them on blast on social media because, you know, I have more class than that. But let's just say I called my next phone call was to a lawyer, and I found out that the lemon laws don't apply for a vehicle over 200,000 miles because it's past its extended warranty from the manufacturer, and that basically I'm on my own. So I called a transmission shop. I talked to a guy, and he said he could take a look at it. It's free diagnostic. He'll take it for a ride. He'll keep it for a little while, go through all the ins and outs and try to figure out what the problem is and give me a realistic quote on what it's going to cost to repair my vehicle that I'm going to be paying on every month for the next year. Mind you, all this is happening right as I'm about to get released from work release out into the world. So I'm trying to get an apartment. I've been struggling. I've paid almost $400 in application fees just to get denied constantly because of my criminal record. You know, living your entire life as a dope fiend, you know, it doesn't leave a good track record. People don't want to trust you. People don't want to take a chance with you. Even though I'm doing good now, I can't. I have no excuse for the path that I've laid behind me. My credit's a little better than I thought it was, but my criminal history speaks for itself. I am a dope fiend on paper, whether I'm in recovery or not. So I find this place here in town, local. It's called the Seeds of Hope, and it's an apartment complex that helps people in recovery. There is a level of accountability, such as, you know, they do apartment inspections and I have to take random drug tests and all that stuff, which is fine by me. I'm not using it anymore. I have no desire to want to get high anymore. I've come too far to want to throw everything away, right? But I've been going back and forth with these people for going on 3 months now. And they finally reached out to me yesterday and said, we have some evictions coming up and we're going to have some vacancies. Are you still interested in an apartment? And I said, yes, 100% I am. They're like, okay, come on down. We need you to take a drug test, fill out some paperwork, and we'll go from there. So I did. I went down there today. Mind you, I'm going on 2.5 hours of sleep. Still, got to take care of business. So I go down there, I meet with them, I tell them my story, which I'm going to get into on here bit by bit as time goes on. But I tell them my story. I got them all in tears, you know, like, because it's a really powerful story. It's I have a very good story as far as like trial and error and, you know, failures and triumphs and perseverance and God and love and just gratitude, you know. So my bank account's empty. I have a truck that is limping down the road, and I'm trying to get into this apartment that I don't know if I'm going to be able to do. But God has a plan, and I 100% have faith that this is going to work out one way or another, because I will not give up. And even if it doesn't work out, that's okay. I'm okay with that today, because I don't have to wake up and put a needle in my arm just to be able to get through the day. And the level of gratitude that I have for that alone is astronomical, you know. I'm gonna be okay, no matter what happens. The world is still gonna happen all the same. Life shows up and life happens. You know, I saw this video yesterday, and it says, the guy was talking about, you know, life is hard. You just gotta choose your hard. You know, it's hard being broke, but it's also hard to be financially disciplined. You gotta choose your hard, you know? And that's the gist of it. You know, it was hard being homeless, strung out, dope sick every day, constant just obsession and grind and all the nightmares that come with, you know, an intravenous addiction. But it's also hard to stand on my 2 feet and make my way through this world step by step, essentially on my own. You know, I have a support system through my program. I have people that check in with me and care about me, but essentially, I'm just like everybody else in this world. At the end of the day, it's only me looking back at myself in that mirror. It's only me taking these steps through this world. So I have to stand on my own 2 feet and get this done if I expect anything to get done. I have to do it. There is no more excuses. There is no more cop-outs. There's none of that anymore. It's time to finally stand up and be a man. And I'm not gonna fail, because even if I fall flat on my face, it's not a loss as long as I get back up and I keep going. There's a lesson to be learned in everything. Every win, every loss, every experience, every encounter, every good, bad, right, wrong. See, I read in a reading in my program that it's very dangerous to attach feelings to events in our life. Like, oh, that was something good, or that was bad, or that was painful, or that, you know what I mean? Like, good and bad it's not safe to associate those things with events in our life. We have to look at them for what they are and learn from them. Treat every encounter as a learning experience, and do your best to not repeat your mistakes. You know, if I could do that, if I can achieve that, then I'm one step closer to being a better version of myself tomorrow than I was today. And with that, I'm going to keep it pushing. I'm not going to give up. And anybody out there that's struggling, just know you can make it out of it. You can come out the other side of it. But you have to make the choice. You have to be done with that obsessive lifestyle that's killing you day by day. You have to choose life.